Maverick 100.9 Aggie Lands Country Alternative. It's Corliss, and I have to amp up the intro for this. This is an interview that's been 4 years in the making. The Calamity Janes are here.
Hi.
Well, I've got two of the Calamity Janes. I've got Arwen and Alyssa, and Courtney couldn't make it today, but this is a sisterly trio. If you haven't heard of them, I am so glad you are joining me today because these are my girls. First off, we got to talk about how funny it was running into each other because we met when I was at an entirely different radio station.
Yes.
And
we rolled into your station like a disaster, just a straight up disaster. We were on radio tour for one of our first singles, and we rolled into your radio station, and I was like, "Dear God, it's three of us."
Were we?
And then it was all three of us. It was me, you, and Courtney, and we were. I don't remember what single it was, but it pops up on my timeline every year, and I'm like, "Oh, hey!"
And then, so I'm just waltzing around Colorado, not knowing who I'm gonna run into.
Because that's the best part.
It is. And here you two are. We had our reconnection. We got to spend a bunch of time together, and it felt so darn good. And
we
that's
caused the scene in the middle of the hallway.
We did.
Fun. It was nice. I'd missed seeing other females. Since COVID happened, we haven't really gotten out and gotten to do as much. With Arwen about to graduate from nursing school, it's just been, we haven't been able to do as much. So getting back out and getting to see all these wonderful females like Morgan, Ashley, and Bree, Bagwell, and everybody playing and just supporting females, I was like, it's such a good feeling. Thank you.
It is.
Yeah.
That was even my last show of Music Fest before I had to leave. I left watching the Calamity Janes, and
was it downstairs while we were in the diamond thing?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that place is crazy.
Yes,
Holy moly. Listen, I've never been hit on by a guy that was 20 years younger than me, but this guy was 20 years younger than me and gave me the address to his condo, and he's like, "Could you come over?" And I was like,
do you remember when Dallas and Morgan sang "Oh Tonight" together?
Yes.
Okay, so I was videoing it, and the kid behind me was he was tapping me on the shoulder. Is that your son? Dallas is a year younger than me.
Stop.
Kid you not.
Stop it.
Rude.
Rude.
So rude.
Rude.
I've gotten to the age where now instead of telling people I'm 38, I'm like, instead of telling them, "Oh, I'm 32," I'm like, "Actually, I'm 46. I just look really good for my age."
Right? I'm gonna start doing that.
Yes. I'm gonna go up instead of down.
I'm gonna tell everybody I'm 42 instead of 32. I'm sticking to 42. Go. I feel like a 42-year-old more than I do a 32-year-old anyway.
People will be like, "Oh my God, you look so good," and you can be like, "Thanks," and it's totally an ego pump instead of somebody being like, "You sure?"
We're learning all the tricks today, and we haven't even chatted music yet. My God.
We're here for life hacks, really. That's what we're doing.
We should make a TikTok together. But before we do that, we gotta talk about the soundtrack to it. You have finally returned with new music, and you came out in true Calamity Jane style with "Thank You, Miller Lite." Ladies, please explain yourself.
Arwen, I'm gonna leave that to you.
I mean, I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory. No.
Whoops.
Really and truly. So our lead player, when we first started playing, we had a lead player named Casey Lanier, and Casey, he and I were fraternity brothers in a musical fraternity called Kappa Kappa Psi back in college. I don't know if I should admit this. He tells this story. I don't have any memory of this, but he says that we met when I showed him my boobs.
Arwen, Elizabeth.
I did not. There is no way I did that. I have never in my life done that ever. Not even once. And that would not be the first time. But anyways, we've been friends ever since. Maybe it was fine. I don't know. I have zero memory of this. But anyways.
Yay, college.
we reconnected years later, and he started playing lead for us. And he played lead for us for a couple of years, but he actually brought that to a rehearsal, and he was like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" And
We
so
like it.
we've been playing it for a long time live, and we just never recorded it. And then we were going in and trying to finish this album that we are getting ready to release sometime at some point in our lives. Now that I'm done with nursing school, we can put maybe a date on it. But we put it on the shelf for a long time, didn't record it, and then we were recording some new music this past spring. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, can we record this?" And he was like, "Hell yeah!" And we were going to get him to play lead on it, just kind of as a throwback, but it just didn't work. We just couldn't get him into the studio, and we couldn't get him whatever. So, but it's a beer drinking, honky tonkin' type song about waking up next to somebody that you don't know.
And disclaimer, Miller Lite.
Yeah.
Right. Disclaimer: if anyone from Miller Lite would like to sponsor this song, us as a group, just reach
Mama
out.
needs a tour bus.
TX Calamity Janes.
Or my podcast. Where
Listen, we will take sponsorships all around in the form of any. Yeah.
And we'll still say thank you at the end of the day. But we do no matter what the Miller Lite makes us do, we'll still say thank you.
Thank you,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Good times.
Well, we're going to let everyone on Maverick have it. Y'all, for the first time, it is the Calamity Janes, and thank you, Miller Lite. Due to copyright, Brian Broadcasting is not licensed to air this single for you in podcast form, but you can now find it anywhere that you stream and download music. And today's interview continues now. Calamity Janes, and thank you, Miller Lite. I've got Arwen and Alyssa here with me. Now, ladies, we got to talk about the changes going on in life, because you did take a bit of a break. I mean, a lot of it wasn't up to you. A lot of it was COVID. It kind of kicked you in the booty.
It kicked in one in the butt, you know?
Yeah. And Arwen went back to school, and you have now graduated.
I did. I graduated a month ago, and I just took my my state nursing board test, and I'm a whole nurse. Somebody said this was a good idea.
I'm not gonna argue with them or say that they're, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, girl. But you know that I love you as a musician. I love all of you. You guys are extraordinary. And
love you.
As I said, they're sisters, and I want to talk about the music and the family. Like, how does that work? How did it even begin?
At birth.
You came out as singing.
I did.
In the womb. No, I mean, we've been singing together, you know, in church and stuff growing up. We did go to church, believe it or not. It didn't burn down. Nothing set on fire.
No one caught fire. We're good.
Also didn't bend over backwards and walk out of the church. Just scare people.
Baby.
Oh, God.
Is that what movie is that? Poltergeist or?
Girl, I don't know. I can't watch that. Give me bad dreams.
Wussy.
I am.
Same though, actually.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
You don't even know.
It really wasn't until a little bit later on that you gals actually started recording and releasing music, right?
Yeah. So when my dad died in 2009, he lived in Florida. My sister Courtney lived in Florida with him, and Alyssa and I lived here in Texas with our mom. And Courtney, I guess, had moved back after my dad died, and we were all in my kitchen one day, and was it Dixie Chicks that was on the radio?
It was Dixie Chicks, of course.
And we were all singing, and I was singing because I don't have a harmony bone in my body. I'm trying, but it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. If you ever see me, I look at Alyssa if I think I hit a harmony, and I'm like, was that it? She'll either give me a good face or a face. Either way, I know, like, sing louder or don't sing at all. Knock it off. But we were singing, and then Alyssa started singing upper harmony, and I was like, yeah. And then Courtney started singing lower harmony, and I was like, oh my God.
I was like, you can sing low harmony, girl? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, let's do something.
And I had actually decided that I wanted to sing, you know, by myself. Like, I had booked a show, embarrassingly enough. I booked a solo show, and I used only karaoke tracks.
Oh.
I didn't know any musicians.
Hey.
I was very fresh in this. I was a music teacher, but I didn't know any like guitar players. I didn't know any of that.
But dreams start somewhere, and you actually put yourself out there. That's
and it started with a terrible but karaoke track show in the middle of Deep Ellum, and the girls got out there and sang with me, and we actually have video of it. I think it's on our Facebook of that very first time that we ever sang. Alyssa, that's the face she gives me when I don't hit my harmony. That one right there.
So I'll talk about it.
That is that face.
Oh my gosh. And then,
but I mean, really, we had been singing. We never quit singing or playing musical instruments. Like Arwen was a music teacher for 13 years. I've always been involved in some sort of choral singing because that's my jam. Like, give me a group of 8 of us that can sing harmony, and I'm good. Right. So it's really just always been part of our lives. Our dad played guitar, our mom played trumpet and like piano.
Well, that was the other thing that I was going to bring up, especially with you bringing up the Dixie Chicks, is you're also multi-instruments, correct?
Yeah. Well, I mean, consider French horn and like trumpet, yeah.
Okay. Piano. Courtney plays flute. We told her we would pay her to show up in a leotard and like go straight Lizzo on the stage.
You can that can go one of two ways. You can either Lizzo it, which thumbs up, or you can Ron Burgundy it.
That's where I thought she was going with it.
Is the, I need Yaz flute.
Yaz flute.
Mr. Burgundy.
I need a Yaz flute.
And then they eat the heart of the wolf and the blood comes down. I freaking love that movie so much.
Oh, I do too. Now we're derailing, but I'm also really excited for the future. Like, so we've got the past. I mean, the girls were born together. Duh. There's not much of a story to tell there. They were just all born with beautiful talents and incredible parents that passed on these beautiful talents. And
now we're passing them on too, because my 17-year-old just started playing home with us and stuff. So I'm like, come on, get on the board. Yeah.
We're going to have an even bigger family band by the time this is all over. But of course, the new single, Thank You, Miller Lite, is available now. But we were talking earlier about that's not all you have coming this year. You're putting in a whole album this year?
Yeah, so we've kind of been talking about a full-length album for a long time. We have probably 4 or 5 that we have not released anywhere that we're just kind of sitting on. That are, pretty jamming. And so we're going to release an entire album later this year. We did a session with Bart Rose, in the spring, and we're going to do another session with him, I guess, this spring. It's already almost spring. What is it, January?
Yes.
Where are we?
What day is it?
What year is this?
I don't even know where I'm at right now.
Literally. Steamboat took it out of us.
Listen, we almost died on the way back from Steamboat. That's a whole nother story. Anyways, back to music. Yep. Seriously. But we'll put out another single, I think, once Thank You, Miller Lite comes down off the charts, we're going to put out another single and really actually like get out and do strong promotion for it, go back on radio tour. I just told my new bosses, I was like, listen, here's the thing. I got work to do. And they were like, yeah, right here. And I was like, no, friends. No. And I miss being on the road. I miss getting to come and see my friends. And we used to get to come and see you guys like twice a year whenever we release singles and stuff. And it's kind of the last 2 years kind of sucked it out of us. But, it's what we're ready to get back at it.
Yeah, it was back.
No, I agree with you 100%. And if anybody is celebrating the return of the Calamity Janes, it's me. So y'all, if you liked the single that we released to you today, please go find more, because they've already got some extraordinary records from the years past that you can get now. And there's more on the way. So if you can follow the Calamity Janes, I highly recommend. And once we have an official date on that album release, I think we're going to be checking back in with these ladies, because it looks like Corliss is going to be making a trip to an album release party at some point this year.
Listen, we're just gonna go straight. We've got some incredible musicians that play with us, and when it comes time for us to release, we're just gonna go crazy with it and just have a good time because we've been doing this for 10 years on singles alone, and we have not released an EP, but we released it one song at a time.
Yeah.
And so now, it's time. It's time for us to do the album thing. And Charlie, what was his name?
Are you asking me?
Yes. Uncle Charlie. Anyways, another musician was like, this album can't suck. We waited long enough for it. And I was like, okay.
Go straight up call you out.
I know. I'm like,
And
who is that?
too.
Where was I?
Or wait, was it at Double Diamonds?
No.
Oh,
this was
okay.
like, what the heck is his last name? He takes all the pictures. I'm not awake enough yet for this. He's a Lubbock guy. He takes all the pictures.
Oh, I love it.
All I can think of is Charlie Crockett. Sorry.
No, that'd be cool though, right?
Oh, I know, right?
Right.
If Charlie Crockett's like, you can't suck, I'd be like, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, either way, girls, it has been wonderful to reconnect with you and to finally make your debut here on Maverick.
Yes, we're so excited. Thank you so much. We love
Thank you, Corliss.